Welcome back to Flying Upstream, where we explore unconventional wisdom for personal and spiritual growth. In today's episode, we dive into how our guest time overseas shaped her holistic approach to wellness, from the power of food as medicine to the importance of energy in our daily lives. She'll share her journey toward discovering the interconnection of mind, body, and spirit, and how these elements influence our overall well being. So, whether you're seeking guidance on nutrition, spiritual practices, or energy healing, our guest's wealth of knowledge and experience will leave you inspired to make positive shifts in your own life. And without further ado, our guest today is Kay Schnizlein. She's a seasoned nutritional guide with over 32 years of experience in helping individuals enhance their vitality through natural supplements, exercise, and holistic health practices. With a deep understanding of the mind body connection, Kay empowers her clients to embrace healthier lifestyles by focusing on nutrition, energy, and spiritual growth. Her passion for wellness extends beyond just physical health. She encourages a holistic approach that includes fostering healthy thoughts and self awareness. Kate has also spent 36 years working in the health insurance industry, specializing in Medicare, making her a trusted resource for navigating the complexities of healthcare. As a vibrant senior over 70 years old, Kay is a living testament to the power of healthy lifestyle choices, staying active through daily exercise, Tai Chi, and fitness routines. Her journey began when she lived abroad for 7 years, which shaped her view on health and healing. Today, she shares her insights and wisdom to inspire others to change the trajectory of their health and well being. Welcome, Kay, to Flying Upstream.
Welcome. Thank you so much. This is exciting.
Awesome.
I really love the upstream and the attitude of what how we make changes in our own life.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, we are all about that, kind of redefining the life that we live to be the best for ours. So, we'd love to start with your story. Take us back to your time living abroad. What took you there, and what was life like during those 7 years?
So what took me there is I was part of a nonprofit organization, Institute of Cultural Affairs, and I had done town meetings in the United States and said I'd like the challenge of working with human development projects overseas. So I was transferred to Western Samoa, and I had to verify with an atlas where in the world that was, and discovered it was an island in the middle of the Pacific. So it was poor. Um, they did not have electricity. The biggest shock was landing at the airport, and you walk from the small plane to the airport on the tarmac of the airport, and it's hot and there's no air conditioning, and you get to pick up your own suitcase. There isn't this nice long conveyor belt. And um, some people speak English and some do not. Um, so you right away are saying something and then waiting for them to understand. Um, in the village, I had a pipe that just moved water, and it's sort of like a pipe that just goes down to shower. And we had that for getting our drinking water. We would have lanterns for lights. So we pretty much lived when the sun went up and when the sun went down. Um, Lived in the folly. The big thing I learned as far as the culture of Western Samoa was you honor them. They have a practice of you greet them with talofa, and then you move towards them, get in their house, even though they can see you moving because the houses are just follies, they're just poles, and there's space between them. And then you sit down and you're facing them eyeball to eyeball, their level. Um, and especially honoring their chief system, the elders. They are very much respected and listened to. What the elder says goes. Um, in Zambia, I was there for 5 years. Again, it was the same nonprofit organization doing village development. So our process was asking the villagers, what do you want? What's your vision? What's the challenges preventing you from getting your vision? Then doing practical proposals to deal with those challenges. So again, it was third world primitive. Um, we, because of the Institute of Cultural Affairs, we had a generator because there was more Institute of Cultural Affairs staff there before I got there that had done some development in the village and had done the human development consult to ask them what the vision was or what they wanted for the village. So it was a survival mindset. What I learned is you ask people questions. You ask them how come. You get inside their their picture of the universe. They they didn't particularly know about pillows, or they had a radio but the news was only BBC. um, they were very much survival, to get water, to get food. um, they didn't, if they were sick, they didn't run off, they couldn't get in a matatu and run off to the capital to see a doctor. um, so they used food for their medicine. So right away they would go to their thing as a medicine doctor who talked about their attitude, their mindset, as well as the herb that would help them for what condition they had. Um, so I use that now, which is when I'm talking to somebody, what do you want? What have you tried? And what do you want? And get at what's preventing them from getting what they want in their health. Um, and then dealing with that.
That's so fascinating to think. And I realize it's probably very hard for us to truly imagine what that's like, where your example of pillows just aren't really a thing there. Is something we take for granted. I have pillows on my bed, on my couches, right? It's just part of our life. It's definitely hard to imagine that, but I really appreciate that you.
Electricity.
Yes, that too. And I appreciate that you went into this with such an open mindset of let's not judge them and criticize them just because they're a different culture, but actually learn from them in a way that comes with curiosity, asking questions. What do they want? Not what you think they should have for a village or a civilization, but what makes sense for them, and really meeting them where they're at. And your example of the medicine person and how they could help not just by giving herbs, but actually changing their mindset. And I'm curious to know, how did this time abroad become a turning point for you? So, not just hearing and seeing what other people do across the world, but how did it actually alter your own ability to heal yourself or others around you?
Um, the big thing was in Western Samoa, they had their babies with midwives in the village. My mother was a nurse, so I just had the understanding you went to the hospital. I was the oldest of eight. She went away and then came back with a baby. And so I then, when I was pregnant, found midwives, and to have my baby with midwives as much natural as possible. Um, and so I was in San Francisco General Hospital, where was midwives on one floor, and there were, if these things didn't go quite the way it was planned as far as not being natural, then I could move to the floor with a normal delivery. So um, having natural birth, and when, and then very much the understanding of start with food as thy medicine, start with hydration, start with um, uh, connecting to your body, um, and listening to your body. And so I carried that forward in the, so when I came back in the States, it was like, okay, what nutrition can make a difference in your health, and what nutrition can make a difference to your health, and learn that the biggest thing is to have anti-inflammatory in your nutrition supplements. So the biggest cause of disease is inflammation. Inflammation causes, Time Magazine said, causes heart attack, stroke, diabetes, cancer, arthritis. How do you prevent those? By lowering your inflammation. So, what was food that would decrease your inflammation? And you can actually go on pubmed.com and you can research. So, if you put in, so I found that mangosteen, mangosteen, I could put that in PubMed, mangosteen slash inflammation, and see that there was a lot of research that said this actually lowers the inflammation that's in your body. So it decreases and prevents getting a disease. So I was out for nutrition that would prevent disease, lowering your inflammation.
I I'm so appreciative of hearing that because so many people in our society, as you said, just run to the doctor. They get a prescription to lower their cholesterol or whatever it may be, and don't even think for 1 second that you could more readily and much more cheaply get a solution just by food. And not only that, but there's only positive side effects to that. And so I can really appreciate that too. And I mean, I am myself, I'm a big believer in that as well. I'm vegan, so I definitely love getting my medicine from my fruits and vegetables there. Um, and I'm curious to know also, as you've embraced this, so you've come back from abroad, you've now embraced a lot of what you've learned there. How did that continue to shape any spiritual practices or the wellness rituals that you still carry with you today?
Um, I then I I I was searching, and then I found where it was a spiritual practice that had to do with connecting to God and not per se a religion. I saw many people in, especially Africa, that it was like they were evangelists to convince people to convert to that religion. Um, and to see the stress of you join my religion, you join my religion. So to find something that was spiritual that says connect with the soul. So I found the practice of Sukya Maikari, and now there's a million members around the world. So it was the experience of receiving light, and um, I could talk forever about that. So to condense my thing, it has to do with when you have this spiritual practice of receiving, I'm creating joy and happiness for people, increasing the gratitude, how you attract abundance, having the clarity, purpose in your life, fulfilling your passion, increasing your vitality, and improving your relationships by connecting to God, by starting with gratitude and humility. Um, the gratitude of being grateful for everything. And so that also starts my daily spiritual practice, but it just starts my day with I drink water for nutrition, at least a glass full of water, and then pray relative to gratitude, thinking of what I'm grateful for, focused on I'm grateful I woke up and I can breathe today. God gave me life today. Um, and the humility. I don't know everything. I get to ask questions. I start with, like you said, curiosity, humbleness. Um, God has this, and it's not so much important what you call God, and much more an understanding of whatever you call it, it's divine power and how I can give light, how people can experience light. So people can email me through my website and say, tell me more about where there's a place to receive light in the city that I'm in. Um, and I will find it for them. I reached out relative to, I know you're in California and your other partner on this podcast is in Austin. So I found locations there that people can receive light and they can have the experience. The point is to have the experience of joy. Everybody's experience is unique.
Yes, I agree. I like what you're saying too, that it's not about what you're calling it, God or universe or source or whatever. It's about having the gratitude, sending out that energy into the world around us, and then using that as a way to shape your own life. And I so appreciate that. I want to switch gears just for a minute here because I know you have a special formula called NEWS, which is nutrition, exercise, water, and sleep. So, with everything we've talked about in mind, how do those work together to support energy and longevity?
Fantastic. Yes. And for news for nutrition. So I'm very much plant based nutrition. Um, and I found two nutritional things that are revolutionary, where it's the xanthan mist that comes from the mangosteen, that because it's very small revolutionary size, it goes directly into our bloodstream and then lowers our inflammation. And the other nutrition is glutathione, and how to have glutathione that, again, with a mist, it simply goes into your body and directly into your blood because of the revolutionary way that it's bioavailable. And they're food. And then with water, um, start your day with water. If you're a little bit foggy, drink water. Um, if you can't think of something, you drink water and then you put your fingers above your eyebrows. Our We need water to function. And I experience, if you're brain fog, um, water usually helps really fast. Exercise, 20 minutes a day exercise. So I, as I got older, when turning 70, three times I was in the hospital and I'm going, wow, what happened? I'm healthy. And so I ended up on one medication that's life saving. Um, but how to get back from recovering to being able to walk and travel internationally by using the xanthan mist to get it absorbed in your body and using the glutamist, which is anti-aging. That's so important to get a nutrient that's particularly focused on helping your cells become younger cells as they reproduce. And I go, wow, what a concept. So on my website, masteryourvitality.com, there's videos that you can learn about this special revolutionary absorbable plant-based vegan nutrition. um, and it changes your health because it's absorbable. That's what makes it revolutionary. So I now exercise three three times a week with special exercise, then still do Tai Chi, which I've been doing for over 40 years when I lived in the United States, and added a exercise that builds muscle, an aerobic exercise. So every day, besides walking, part of the recovering is to get exercise. So my suggestion to people is walk 20 minutes a day and then add stuff that helps strengthen your muscles. The older we get, the more important it is to add something that strengthens muscles. But if all you do is 20 minutes a day, walk, whatever the weather is, you can do, there's ways to walk inside shopping centers or exercise gyms where you just walk and move, not so much using them. And then sleep, it's so important to focus on how to get to sleep, stop electronics for an hour before going to sleep. Listen to your rhythm of your body. um, so many years I went to sleep when the sun went down because we only had a generator. So we turned off we had 2 hours of generator after the sun went down and then sleep. Um, So getting good, solid sleep, and many people have, especially Tom, said it changed his life by having the xanthan mist, which is from the mangosteen, and spraying this before he would go to bed. And then he would sleep sounder. And if I wake up to go to the bathroom, sometimes I don't do that anymore. Then I will spray the mist extra so I can quickly get back to sleep and have deep sleep. And it's so important for regenerating, and it's so important to keep our attitude of gratitude is with sleep.
That's so beautiful. I I love that. Um, you've talked a lot about inflammation, and I'm a little curious to know what is the link between chronic inflammation and low energy that maybe most people overlook?
When you have inflammation, you have generally pain, um, high cortisol, many times not able to sleep. So, by taking supplements that decrease inflammation, there's foods that add inflammation to your body. So, if you take those foods out, so I've taken out wheat. Early on, when I came back to the States, a brand new husband, because got married in Zambia, said, stop eating wheat. And I discovered I'm more alert. I'm not tired. His first thing he said is, somebody turned on the lights in the afternoon. So, not eating wheat and staying away from dairy, both of those create inflammation. You figure it out. When I started 40 years ago, I had to figure it out. There wasn't labels. But now the water and food, and then adding nutrition like the xanthan mist that actually lowers the inflammation in your body is important.
That's such an important key to all this too, and I thank you for creating that link for us. We've got one final question for you as we wind down now. If someone listening feels stuck in their health or energy, what's one small but powerful shift that you'd encourage them to make today?
Um, to go to my website, masteryourvitality.com, because I have 8 secrets to increasing the vitality in your life, and then water to start your day, and gratitude. Gratitude for everything. Gratitude for this ache. Gratitude that you have joy. Gratitude you're awake. And you just start your day with what you're grateful for. You're grateful for your tongue. You're grateful for your eyes. Um, you're grateful for this challenge. It that makes a difference in your life.
So beautiful and such an inspirational way to wrap up today. Thank you so much, Kay. For our free spirits out there, we hope you're feeling inspired by her holistic approach to health and vitality, and that her insights will encourage you to make positive shifts in your own wellness journey. To learn more about Kay's work and dive deeper into her wisdom, be sure to check out her links to masteryourvitality.com and the links in our show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to Flying Upstream for more enlightening conversations with thought leaders who change the status quo. Keep questioning, keep exploring